I think there's a misnomer in the market about programmatic in the first place. There's a difference between programmatic and real time. The focus there on programmatic in essence means efficiency, whereby you could actually be buying inventory that is not only on open exchanges, but through premium publishers as well. So the focus there is on automating the process, which for the most part continues to be inefficient. So that's where the programmatic part comes in. In terms of where it's headed, it's really depends on the goals of the advertisers. From where we sit, it's pretty straightforward, right? A lot of publishers are focusing and going directly to clients and talking about saying you should automate and work directly with the publishers, i.e. get rid of the agency if they're not a part of this. We think that's a big mistake. Three key reasons for it. Number one is access to talent. Number two is access to finance. And number three is access to scale. I'll now elaborate upon each one of them briefly. If you think about the talent part alone, everybody, including startups, including DSPs, DMPs, agency holding desks, are really going after the same people with a specific skill set, which is very hot right now. Having said that, access to talent is not easy. So there's that to begin with. Number two, as I mentioned, was investment in this specific programmatic in-house capability. It's not cheap. And it's another thing, given the nature of our business, it needs a constant investment all the time. So is that something as a company you're prepared to do? Is that something where your CFO is going to allow you year after year to pump in millions of dollars, which is needed just to keep up, right? That's something which is table stakes as far as VCs are concerned, and that's what they do when they're funding companies like a DSP or a DMP all the time. Last but not the least is, as I mentioned, the scale issue. The biggest advertiser in the world could be a P&G or Unilever, for example, might think they have a substantial amount when it comes to programmatic, but it pales in comparison if the agency was simply to consolidate the programmatic spends of all of its clients. So there's efficiencies right of aggregation that you bring that will be very hard for an individual client too. And last but not the least is sort of the culture, because when you talk about programmatic, the team that's required to run it has a very different skill set. It's almost individualistic because you're focusing on trading in real time, which is a more collaborative culture that's usually is present within organizations. So there's the cultural issue also, right? So when you look at all the things in aggregate, we believe if the agencies do the job right, it behooves them to keep programmatic, for the clients to keep programmatic in-house with the agencies and not the other way around, right? That's sort of our positioning on it.
In terms of where we stand on the continuum of that being the way that you guys operate, your clients operate in this sort of programmatic, where do we stand now and where might it go in a year or so?
So I think you'll definitely see a couple of things happening. You're seeing consolidation. I think most recently was, I believe only a week ago, when Rocket Fuel buying on X+1. So you'll see more of that because currently the landscape is littered with a lot of Me Too's, a lot of vendors out there who do not have a very specific value proposition, or it's hard for them to articulate what exactly is different about their proposition. So there's that right off the bat. Outside of that, you will also see the bigger holding companies focus more and more on their agency trading desks. You know, you have Acumen, you have Xaxis, you have ours, which is Viviki, which is just as good, if not better, than the other ones. So it's really a focus on arming the capabilities as well as the account service and execution of these to really better focus on using first-party data along with CRM data and telling a holistic story as far as programmatic is concerned. So you can focus not only on efficiencies, we think that's a wrong KPI to focus on, it really should be business outcomes. That's what we're in the business of delivering. So for us, the focus has always been on delivering business outcomes. If we do that confidently, we believe that's something we'll be able to keep in-house.